So in business or just or life organization, it's always good to have a little system set up. And what that's going to allow you to do is split that up further. So here, I got my house set up into sections. I got, the upstairs, I got the basement, I got the barn set up, I got a shed set up, kind of deals. I got it all broken up into little systems. So like I have like the basement section, and then I have a section of that basement section, and then I have a shelf in that basement is labeled, and then I have a layer on that shelf is labeled, and then off that I have a number on the box on that shelf, so I can break it all the way down and easily find where that box is very fast, very quickly. And that can be anything. It doesn't have to be for a business. This can be something that you do around the house. This can be where you put the Christmas ornaments kind of deal. Where they go? Well, they're somewhere in the house. Are they in the attic? Are they in the barn? Are they in the basement? Where are they at? And as long as you have some kind of system set up, you can find those things pretty dang easily. Clothing and all that stuff. Tools especially, if you have tools, you have an area that you put those tools in. There's one right there. And just having little rules that where do my sockets go? Well, my sockets go on a socket wall. And here's where all my overflow sockets are too. Because you got to add stuff on top of that. You got to add, factor for things like overflow sockets. And if you get a good deal on screw, maybe you can get a bucket of screwdrivers for $5. So now you got a whole bunch of screwdrivers that way more than you need kind of deal, and you want to store those somewhere. So you got an area for overflow and all that kind of deal. Or you just weed it out and get rid of what you don't need kind of deal. Maybe you got some that need 100% and you can toss those for whatever. But just having systems set up, especially if you have a business, you need to have systems set up, because if you don't have systems set up, you're going to run into issues, and these are costly issues that can cost you not just that one sale, they might cost you more than that. So you need to have systems set up. You also have to have some type of a schedule set up. All right, I don't care what that schedule might be, and you also want to be flexible with that schedule. So I do eBay for 5 hours a day. And that's eBay. That might not be all listing. That part of that 5 hours might be sourcing. Actually, come to think of it, it's 7 hours if you include the whole thing. It's 7 hours a day. It isn't 5. So yeah, I do eBay for 7 hours, but part of that is shipping. That 2 hours of that is shipping. That's why I wasn't including it. And going to the post office in the morning and going to the post office. Going to USPS in the morning for all the small stuff, and shipping out UPS later in the afternoon for all the large stuff. It just makes sense. Kind of deal. And that's where my shipping is there. And it's simple as that, where I have the schedule set up for that, and in between I'm doing that. If I got an auction or something, or if I'm sourcing that day, I might not list as much kind of deal. But you're still working on the business. I'm still doing this for this 5 hours kind of deal. And obviously, if this is your whole thing, you should probably double that. You should probably be working 10 to 14 hours on the whatever, because that's your main thing of income. And there's 24 hours in a day. You got a 10-hour break there, folks, which is plenty of time to get your meals in and your breaks in and still get back to business. And I mean, you don't need to kill yourself with this. You can make a good amount of money on this without killing yourself, like eBay or online selling and all this stuff. It's not hard to make 30% returns. That's what I'm doing it. And on top of that, because I'm using my house, I get some deductions because I'm using my home as a business on top of living there kind of deal. But that's always been the focus. But I knew going into this that I would need to have systems set up, and I need to have space set up for what I wanted to do. And I'm still in stage 1, moving into stage 2. I'm only like a year and a half into this. You can go all the way back, you're going to see. But I'm only like a year and a half really into this, where I've actually really been doing it, not just prepping, not just screwing around. I did that for like 2 or 3 months before I actually got into this. But I'm only like a year and a half into this, and I'm stage 1 to stage 2, where there's like 7 steps to this. And those 7 steps are probably going to take me probably about 7 years. And I'm being realistic, and I'm being realistic with these things, and I'm learning as I go kind of deal, and I'm adjusting as I go kind of deal. But one thing that I cannot stress more than anything is having systems set up. Because if this was unorganized, right now I think I got, it's probably 1,300 items that are sitting, and if one of those items is missing, that's an issue. If that goes in the wrong area, that's an issue. So I'm really strict about putting stuff in areas and keeping it in those areas. When I'm doing stuff, I pretty much pick a shelf, empty that out, and then I know that I got a 2 foot, or let's go 20 inches. I got a 20 inch by 20 inch by 12 inch tall section. I got that to fill. So I'll do the listings for that open area. Maybe it's like half a shelf, and I'll fill that up, and then I know I got that, and that way it's not overfilling that shelf or whatever, and I'm not actually putting too much in one area. I'm kind of careful about that. And then I look for another shelf. Maybe I gotta consolidate some boxes and kind of thing to make more room, but get it that way. And obviously I have some things that got to be temperature controlled. Other things don't have to be temperature controlled, and I have areas for that. Some things are stupid heavy. I got some things that are like over 100 pounds, and other things that are, under 1 pound, and all that is where they go and where they go kind of deal. But you gotta have all these systems set up in place, because if I just put all the stuff in the barn, that might be an issue. If I put like snow globes in the barn and the barn's not insulated, those snow globes can freeze kind of deal. So you can't be doing that. Those got to go in the house for an example. And just stuff like that, where you're playing around and you just got to have these systems set up and kind of have mindset of what can go where, and do this from the start, before you even start, because going back would be a little bit of a nightmare. And if you're like moving to another warehouse, okay, that's your chance to redo everything. But you still gotta, you might have to change all your SKUs around at that point. So if you can get it from the start, and my system goes location dash item number. So, and I write all my item numbers on the box. That way I don't have to worry about like a barcode or a QR code or whatever not printing that day. I simply have a number. I simply have I think I'm up to 2,700, I'm up to like 2,600 right now. And I just write that on the box, like 2605, and I just put that on the box kind of deal. And that way I know I have the location dash item number, and there's no limitation of how many I can go. Plus, when I see an offer in eBay, I'll see like an offer for location dash 302, and I'll know that's an older item, and what to discount it at, and all these items are written on the box, but they just get covered up with a sticker on the way out kind of deal, and it's not an issue. But that's my system. You do your system how the heck you want to do it. You do what works for you kind of deal, and everybody's different. Whatever the heck you're going to sell is different and all that. And but you got to have a system in place with everything, because if you don't have a system in place, you're going to be unorganized, and if you're unorganized, you're going to lose stuff. I'm horrible about like buying sockets, like, because I'll get a socket set, I use sockets, I'll lose sockets all the time, and then I will I'll go out and buy another set, and then I'll use that set, and I'll use the sockets, and I'll like, where's my 8? I don't know where my 8's at. Anyway, I set up a whole little shelf that just has a bin system, and I just have it so I can throw all the 8s in this little bin. I actually bought it at an auction. I didn't build it, but I bought it at an auction, and it was like already set up, and then I went through and I did it by different sizes. So I got like little 4x4 by roughly 4 inches bins that I can just throw these sockets in, and it works out where I got it all the way up to around an inch. I think it goes over an inch, or it's up to an inch. Is it like nothing to like, I think it's like 4.5 all the way up to a whole inch, and it goes metric / standard. And I can just throw it in those bins, and that works a lot of the time, but I still find myself buying the sockets because I'm horrible about that. And it's having the system in place. If you don't have a system in place, you're going to be having issues. All right, there you go. Little thought of the day, folks. Get systems in place with almost everything you do. All right, see ya.